I knew precious little about Georgia, so it was a complete blank slate.
Arriving in Tbilisi was a new experience. It was the kind of city that I'd never been in before. It wasn't anything like the Middle East, and it wasn't anything like Europe. And it wasn't even a crossover between the two. It was something a little bit different.
Lots of local little dishes, frali, kinkhali, and Georgian salad, cucumbers and tomatoes. We have that everywhere. Oh, it's so delicious.
Oh, I'm still a little tired from the flight out. But I'm looking forward to riding. Ready to ride tomorrow morning.
The first day was hell.
With gravel and very lunar style landscape.
About a 12-kilometer grade and gravel, which was tough. We cycled right up to the border of Azerbaijan through countryside that was almost semi-desert.
Udavno was really interesting. People were super warm, like the guest house was so lovely. We went to Signahi next, which was quite charming and unexpected.
It was up on the side of a hill, quite dramatic. We climbed out of town past we called it Dog Hill, through a traffic jam of a big truck, a big cattle, and a guy on a bicycle.
Lagodheki I was really looking forward to.
Went to the national park, do the hike.
Really pretty waterfall that we hiked up to.
And then we ended up here in Ikalto in the wine country. And as you can see, there's grapes here.
I remember my grandfather when he first time gave me taste the wine, his own homemade wine. I was 3 or 4 years old.
Georgia does appear that it's the oldest winemaking country in the world. The Georgian wine industry, I've heard, is something like 8,000 years old.
During these 8,000 years, we had a make your wine in same tradition.
We cycled in 90 kilometers, and I'd hate to count. I mean, probably went past 100 vineyards, or maybe 200 or 300, and road signs along the road, with an arrow pointing wine route, wine route. Their winemaking methods really haven't changed very much.
Everything all together, the skins, steams, seeds, everything go for the fermentation together.
And it's all drunk very fresh. There isn't an aging process.
Wine is not just beverage for the alcoholic. It's great reason to share your emotion to your friends.
I didn't dare to try cha-cha.
Yeah.
Those 3 glasses of wine were way enough for my capacity. I was feeling happy after.
God, why don't they have flat mountains?
The history of this part of the world is so interlaced between Persians, Mongols, Russians, Armenians, Ottomans, Byzantium, and it goes on and on. It's quite complex to try and wrap your head around.
Going through towns and saying hi to people, like sometimes you wouldn't get a response. There's just kind of a stone face.
I'd like to wave to people, try to engage with people, and they'd be hesitant to respond.
Generally, people are pretty dour, and I wondered whether that was part of the hangover of being under control of the USSR for so many years.
It's a slow process. You cannot just get rid of the past, even if you want to.
I noticed in the countryside, if I would say hi to farmers, they'd all say hello.
They've got a modern outlook, I would say, on tourism, and I think it seems like they're looking worldwide, trying to encourage people to come to Georgia.
I really kind of formulated more of an impression of Georgia after I left it and came into Turkey because of the contrast.
Going into Turkey, immediately there was a welcoming smile, a kind of warmth that I hadn't experienced at all in Georgia. And it was astonishing to me that a geopolitical border could actually define personality as much as that did.
Those imaginary lines are just like time machines, everything changes.
TDA tours are known for being long, 100-kilometer days or even more.
Riding 60 miles? Riding every day? 2 days in a row with not taking a break? I mean, those are things that were new to us.
Yeah, there were some long days, and certainly like in the heat.
It was very hot, and when it's hot when you're climbing, you can't generate any kind of breeze around you. That's difficult.
This one really did push us. This was really, really hard.
I don't look at the next day's climb until I start it. Because it is what it is, and I'm not going to change it.
I've been practicing a lot of like self-talk, positive self-talk on the bike.
Nice!
The camaraderie, and we all got through it as a team effort.
I'm enjoying it. I'm not as fast as I was when I was 45, but
the climbs are a huge challenge for me. I don't have granny gear. Well, I brought the wrong bike, probably.
I was immediately struck by that feeling of the friendliness. The landscape didn't change immediately upon crossing from Georgia to Turkey.
The very first thing that struck me was people were smiling.
Coming into the first town, it was vibrant. It was easygoing. There was commerce going on. The shops were full.
It was a small town, and I feel like in Georgia you would have gone through and it would have been quite quiet. We came through and there are people everywhere and everybody's out on the courtyards having coffee. That to me was like, oh, we're in a different country. Like, this is the culture change.
There was a guy standing next to his truck and he saw me coming, so he waved me down. Out comes an apple. This is for you.
A car pulls up, a little girl gets out and hands a candy bar, and then gets back in the car and they drive away.
Everybody is just very curious. Where are you from? Why are you here? Where are you going? Do you want to do tea? Do you want to do this? How can I help?
I had a group of like 12 people surrounding me, all asking me rapid fire questions about like where we're from, what we're doing, why we're doing it. Why is a big one. Like what?
It was wet.
It was wet.
It was really hot. Why don't I stay at the office?
a hot drink and a hot soup.
You're coming home and there's soup ready for you, which is wonderful, like nourishing, healthy, kind of warm soup. And then there's a bit of a routine.
It's like finding your campsite. There is something special because at hotels, people all sort of scatter into their rooms and you don't see them. But at camp, there's nowhere to go.
the intimacy of it. I love how they say everybody poops. Everybody's personal kind of movements are on display, and you hear sleeping bag zips, farts, yawns, right in the whole thing. It's just completely, totally intimate.
The camping really gets people together because you really spend the whole breakfast and dinner and together.
I really enjoy the dinners that get put together, they're in the field with simple equipment and delicious, and everything always tastes better when you're camping.
Good.
How they're made also. They're being prepared by a little family. There's Mama Cook, Mitch, and all the little helpers kind of chipping in, and people washing, and it's nice to see, nice to experience, and to be the beneficiary of that wonderful meal always. It's great. The sights, smells, and sounds, you're immersed in them.
You see normal life.
It gives me the ultimate freedom to be me by myself.
You get to see things that you would have never seen.
Little fig.
That's right.
Checking for scorpions.
The bicycle gives you the advantage of moving fast enough to get from one place to another and have changes along the way, which often with walking you don't get. Or a car, which you move so fast you don't get a time to actually smell, feel and experience the environment you're passing through.
Here in Turkey, it feels like the perfect vehicle to interact with people. Like, it is an immediate opportunity for them to be like, where are you from? What are you doing? Why?
You stopped on the road in a vehicle and try to engage with someone, that's a completely different feel and environment.
Yeah, one of the great things about riding a bicycle through some places, you see the cows walking down the road going to the fields.
When you're coming into town on a bicycle, when you're seeing things on a bicycle, it's just inherently more interesting.
You're not watching the world go by, you're involved in the world as it goes by.
I assume when we get to Istanbul, we're going to be like, wow, that's so different than where we started and what we saw along the way. I do see a shift maybe starting at Amasya.
Now the cities get bigger, there are industries, people are not working in their farms, they are not making agriculture.
Amasya surprised me.
It was kind of a center for Ottoman Empire for a long time.
Amasya, now that was clearly a tourist town, but it was Turkish tourists.
I actually don't think I've heard any other languages than Turkish.
I don't think it's on a general tourist map or destination.
Beautiful setting on the river there with the houses built over the river.
Immensely charming, the river running through.
Safranbolu right here, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site.
You can see the history, the stone, you can hold it, you can see it, you can touch it.
Sites and the monuments just here in the downtown area, and the old Ottoman palaces that are just everywhere.
And also commerce, like this is a very vibrant place.
Certainly it's the first time that we've been close to the sea. Getting to ride along the Black Sea is an experience that I'm really looking forward to. Like finally seeing that will really mark like, oh, we're at the end.
Why do I ride my bike? Because the feeling is great. I know it's very common, ordinary.
there is a psychological process that's going on that I haven't quite figured out.
While you're going up a large climb, instead of being so focused on that end of the climb, stopping and turning around and looking at everything that you just passed through is, phenomenal.
When I'm sitting on my saddle, I'm really thinking about the top of the climb. And I think in life, too often, people focus on a destination rather than the journey. And the pleasure of riding a bicycle is it's the journey that matters. Getting there is less important.
I don't come just to ride. Like the destination is not, it is a journey, absolutely.
You're not going to remember getting into camp. You're going to remember those moments in between where like you get to interact with folks and see sights that you might not have noticed if you were so focused on the destination.
For me, it's true adventure because every day there's been, for me, a meaningful encounter. It's increased my understanding, I guess, a little bit of how other people live and function, and helps me understand myself.
Endorphins from the exercise, from the challenge, you're lost in thought, you're observing what's going on around you.
Yeah, I spent that amount of time on my bike today, 5 hours. Okay, what were my thoughts? Not much. Cycling up the hill. Okay. Oh, enjoying the views, enjoying the downhill. It's very zen, but no big thoughts about sense of meaning of life. Nothing like that.
I'll get you.